Except where them haters, where them hoes, where them throws, you know what I'm saying? Cecil.
Like I said on Mark Mac Young's, otherwise known to some people as Mark Animal Mac Young, on his Facebook page, he's got a big list of red flags that we all contributed to in terms of what to watch out for in a martial arts instructor. And this is the first one of note that I saw that I totally disagreed with. Okay, some people feel like you should watch out for any instructor who insists on using their own students for demonstrations. In other words, they never demonstrate their techniques on strangers or anybody else from the crowd. They insist on using their own students. That is not a red flag to me because the big issue is safety. Especially if I'm doing a joint lock technique, the person I'm doing the joint lock on needs to know where the joint lock is supposed to go and how to safely receive the joint lock, or else I'm going to break the joint that I'm locking. If I'm demonstrating a bunch of self-defense routines or really intricate one-steps, they need to know where I'm going to go, because if they don't, I could actually hurt them. It's not being phony, it's being safe. Would you prefer that one of my students takes a fall from a throw or from a sweep? Or would you prefer that your grandmother take a fall from one of my throws or sweep? You never know. What if she gets up there and says, I want you to try it on me. I don't believe it works. Now, that's a humorous example, but what if it's your buddy, one of your friends? Then you know what you would do, you naysayers and critics. You would say, he's just a bully. He's mad, and then he went and he just hurt someone. Well, let me tell you why I've ultimately come to the conclusion of, yeah, I'm going to just use my students for demos. Because I went a step further. I said, no, I'm not going to use strangers because that's not safe. I'm not going to just let my own students be the attackers because that's not convincing. I will be the UK. I'll be the attacker. You know, being a noble Negro. You know, I decide I'm going to be the attacker. Instead of just people attack me, I block, counter hit, throw, finish safely. And where did that get me? Well, if you look back on some of my earlier videos, especially the ones with my daughters throwing me, and she's about 12 or 13, she's really throwing me, but she gets scared because of her own power, and she lets go of dad because she's like, oh, I'm scared. And I go flying. That's why some of those are in slow motion, because she threw me so fast, you got to get the slow mo so you can see what I did, and I counted it. Now, me probably being a little bit of a masochist, I didn't really mind that so much because I wanted to practice break falling anyway. But it's still, looking back in hindsight, especially as I'm getting up there in the years, that's pretty stupid. If there's nobody that else around that I know really has good control over the throw, I should not be taking the throw or be the receiver of the technique. I should be the one inflicting the technique. Plus, I also figured that I would just look like a big bully, this big, huge, knocking on 300-pound man, 6 foot something, throwing some little girl around. I mean, the optics are better for me to be the person to receive the techniques. But honestly, it's safer that I do the technique, even in that instance, because I'm not going to hurt her, but she could get scared and hurt me because she was a child. And it would have been my fault for being stupid. Now, there was another instance where it wasn't really a demo. If I remember correctly, the student's dad was asking me about something and asked me to work on something. And I was like, okay, and I just let myself be the uki for that. And I knew the student would probably have a little bit of trouble with it. But there were a lot of people were coming around and starting to watch. Few people were watching, and the student was doing this and doing that. And I was thinking about, okay, well, when we have to do another recital, I will probably that's what I started thinking. I'm going to put this in, and he's going to be the one to throw me for it. Well, at one point, this is my, I've had several special needs students, but this was a special needs guy I got the brown belt. And I'm not mad at him because, see, I should have known better. He did it right, all right. He threw me, but instead of landing on the mat, he threw me so well that I landed on a wall. So I landed up against the wall like this. Like I was Spider-Man. I hit the wall like Spider-Man, and then I was over top of some chairs because he threw me over some chairs into the wall. And then when I came down, you know how you break fall? You're taught to break fall like this if it's a front fall because I was coming down like this. So I had to smack the chairs away, like pity, 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 and then come down finally near the mat, and then I got up. So thank you, Maryland Judo Association, for teaching me how to fall. Because I got thrown into the wall, and then I had to sweep stuff out the way and kind of break fall, like a forward roll, and then get back up. Now, I know some of you watching this don't believe it because you can't do it. Doesn't mean that I can't do it because you can't do it. But that's what happened. The last example I could think of was doing a recital. So, and this was after I survived the Faces of Death chairs thing. I mean, you would think that would have been enough for me to get a hint that, God was probably trying to tell me something. But no, I had to be dumb. So what I did was, and see, I knew this was a problem. Let me tell you first. We used these rollout mats, okay? And we used them for one steps. The only problem is when a lot of strike-oriented martial artists get on those type of mats and they're doing stuff for one steps, they slide about a quarter of an inch farther than what they're used to sliding. And so the first time that they're on those mats, they may not realize that. So they're going to slide a little bit and go, oh, and then they can readjust their technique. But we didn't go through the demo on those mats. We didn't practice it on those mats. We practiced it on stickier mats and then went to the slide mats. And I did not warn the defender. I did not warn the defender about the little slippage thing. And if I did, I didn't stress it enough. I know I didn't stress it enough. So I started thinking about it because I think he couldn't get off of work. I think that's what it was. And he's a black belt too. So I was like, all right, I'll be the attacker and I'll take my chances. So what happened is when I came in, for my down block, and when I came in to punch, and I use him because he's got good one steps. If he's watching this, he knows who he is. And I wasn't mad at you then, bro, and I'm not mad at you now because I think it's funny actually. So I came, and then he did his beautiful parry and came down, and he didn't hit me hard though, but I know what happened. He slid a little bit more, and because he's got good control, he knew it was hitting me right in the cheek hollow, but he still managed to pull it. There was still some pain there, but he did manage to pull it, so I didn't actually get knocked out. And then he did that and threw me whatever. He was like, oh man, Cecil, I'm sorry, man. I was like, hey, don't worry about it. Then I think I said, yeah, there's some slippage going on these type of mats. Now imagine if I said, hey, let's ask for a volunteer from the audience to attack this guy on these slippery mats, and then he ends up fracturing somebody's cheekbone or jaw. Because see, with me taking it, or somebody that's an experienced practitioner taking a fall, you're used to bobbing and weaving and accommodating some things, so you're going to, to relax when something's coming at you instead of bracing for something coming at you. So that is why, those are 3 examples of why it's best, if there's nobody else around, for the instructor to just go ahead and use his own students. Or the instructor go ahead and be the defender against the people's attacks. Or the higher ranking, the more experienced martial arts practitioner to go ahead and be the defender. And let somebody take the falls that they know how they're coming and they know how to go with the flow to have minimal to no damage. Because a lot of times in a demo, there's really no damage. There's no way to guarantee a truly 0 risk of injury, even though for practical purposes, it is 0 risk when both people know how the flow is supposed to go. So that's why we don't just grab people at random and just let anybody come up to us and demonstrate our self-defense techniques, because we're going to hurt them. And let's just be legalistic here. If I say attack me, you attack me, and I just hit you, or I do something that you believe in, and then I hurt you, you're probably going to turn around and sue me, aren't you? Yeah, you know you are. So thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. And remember that an instructor who's using only their students to demonstrate on, that's not a red flag of incompetence. That's actually a sign of somebody who is concerned about your safety. Peace. Share the video. And sub.